One cool feature you can do in SQL is join two different tables that have different data sets and get a result that combines both of the data you need into a formatted table. There are two different commands that we can use for this, and we're going to go over those right now. The first one being inner join and the left one being left join. They do very similar things, but there are key differences that make them unique. So let's go over what those are right now. But before we do that, we're going to need to create another table that we can use data against alongside our existing films table. So let's first create the film category table. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this. So we have a category ID, a film ID, and the category name. These categories match every single movie that we currently have inside of the films table. Now I'm going to go ahead and insert our values here. So let me go ahead and do that. Hit enter. We have 39 records here. So now if I do select all from the film underscore category table, now we can see that we have our category IDs and we have our film IDs as well as their category names. I'll go ahead and skip all these lines here. So now we have two tables that we can use to join with each other if we want a table where we have all the movies as well as the film categories. We're going to learn about two things right now. We're going to learn about how inner join works, and we're going to learn about how aliases work in your SQL queries. So let's go ahead and get to that. So in order to understand how joins work, we need to first create some tables that go against the data that we have currently in all those tables and insert some new ones so that we can join them together. So the first table we're going to create is going to be the actors table. So this is going to have an actor ID and the actor name. I'm going to have all the actors from every single film that we have currently. And then we're also going to create the film actors table, and this will make sense in a second. So this one is going to have the film ID and actor ID as well as a primary key. And now into the actors table are going to go every single name of each actor that are associated with the specific films. So let me go ahead and insert those. And now we also have the film actors, which are going to include their IDs as well as the film IDs. So now you can see that we have two separate tables that we just created. If I do select all from the actors table, we can see that we have actor ID as well as the actor name all in this table. And then if we say select all from film underscore actors table, you can see that we have a film ID and an actor ID. So this goes with multiple different tables that we have relationships with. And now we can focus on how to join all this data together and make sense of inner join and left join. Okay, so like I said, we're going to focus on the inner join, and we're also going to add some aliases. And what those are going to look like, let me copy and paste this in here so we can go over what this looks like. First, we have our select statement. And now we're going to go into what we're selecting. So we have f.filmid, and this will make sense in a second. We have f.title. We have a.actor name. So we're selecting the film ID, we're selecting the title name, as well as the actor name. That's what the results are going to look like. Now, we're going to select from the films table, and after the films table is a space and an F. So the alias that we want to give our films table is F. So now that anytime we want to access the films table, all we have to do is type F, as we can see here. After we select the films table and add the alias, we're going to do and add our inner join statement. This is where we're going to add different tables and join them together. So after you say inner join, we're going to take on the film actors table and we're going to give it an alias of FA. So short for film actors. And we're going to join these two tables on, which is why we have on. So we're going to select the films table and then the film ID from the films table. If it equals the same film ID from the film actors table, that's where we're going to join those rows and columns on. We're going to add another inner join. We can string on as many joins as we want. So in this case, we're going to do two because we're bringing on the actors table. So we're going to join the actors table and we're going to give it an alias of A on the fact that any actor IDs from the film actors table is also equals to the actor IDs from the actors table. And lastly, we see order by. That's a statement we haven't gone over yet, but we're going to order them by the film IDs from the film table. So we're going to order them by those film IDs, but we're going to go from the film table. So I know that's a lot to take in, but let's go over it one more time. The final table that we are going to see. We're going to have 3 different columns. We're going to see the film ID from the films table. We're going to see the title from the films table, and then the actor name from the actors table. And now the reason we're not seeing the film actors table in the select column is because, one, we're using the film actors table as a bridge to connect the actor names to their correct films. That's what we did here on this join. Is we took our film actors, and if we look up at the film actors table, we can see that we only have a film ID and an actor ID. Each of them are just numbers, but they correspond to an actor as well as a movie. So we took the data that we have from the film actors table and we joined it on top of the film table. Now, if there was a film ID that matches any of the movies inside of the inside of the films table, then we're gonna match those together, take that data and use it for the results section here. Now that bridge allows us to say, okay, well now we want to join the actors table on top of the film actors table now. Now we can associate actors with the correct movies now that we have the film IDs and the actors that go with them. So we're taking on the actors table in the form of, or in the alias of A, on top of film actors. And now if we have any actor IDs that match the film IDs in the film ID, or in the film actors table, we're going to take that data and then use that here. And then we'll obviously, again, order them by the film ID in the films table. A lot to take in again, but if I hit enter, we're going to see that we have a very nice formatted table here. Like I said, we're ordering by the f.film ID, which we use up here as well. So everything is ordered chronologically, or, in numerical order, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that film ID will match Inception. And then Leonardo DiCaprio, checks out, was in Inception. Tim Robbins was in Shawshank Redemption. Marlon Brando was in Godfather. So you can see on and on that this does make sense. And now if we were to go and do select all from the films table, we can see that Inception had a film ID of 1. So that checks out right there. And then if we go to select all from the actors table, we can see that Leonardo DiCaprio had an actor ID of 1. So all of that data that we just took in, actor ID of 1 and film ID of 1, matches exactly what it was between all the 3 different tables that we had a relationship with, all to give us one very nice table that we can now use for any form of data analysis or any sort of computation that any of your teams need. And that's really a awesome way to join multiple different tables. This was an example of inner join. Left joins do something similar, but there is a catch between the two that make them unique, as I mentioned before. So let's take a look at what left joins look like.